What's up and welcome to the Sam Dracula channel. My name is Sam. This is a Hornets fan channel, and today I have a very special guest, Wess Bryant. You know him from Bally Sports. He's a Hornets insider. He sits down with me. We'll get to Wess in a second, but before we talk to Wess, I want to say thank you to everybody in my Discord that submitted questions for Wess leading up to the interview. If you want to get involved with any future interviews, make sure you join my Discord and submit your questions so you can get involved in the fun we have here on the Sam Dracula channel. But enough of me. Let's bring in Wess. Wess, how you doing?
What's going on, man? I'm glad to be here talking Hornets with you, man. Content creator. I used to be a fellow content creator like you, still doing it as well, man. So glad I could lend a helping hand.
I appreciate it. And I'm a fan. Your addition to the Hornets television broadcast has been a joy to watch. So I was like, oh man, I gotta get him on. Had Ashley on the channel last year, so I was like, gotta get Wess on. Had to make it happen. I'm glad we could make it happen. So thank you again for joining me. What I'm curious about is, what were your thoughts on the Hornets television broadcast before you joined?
Man, I used to watch, because see, it was hard because I'm a cord cut, I guess you could say. So I had YouTube TV and stuff like that. So it was real hard to get Hornets broadcast. So I didn't get to watch a ton. And I was trying all types of ways, seeing what service might carry, Bally Sports at the time. It was Fox Sports South. Mm-hmm. Just trying to see how I could get it. And once I finally did, I would check it out, man. It was a good broadcast. It would get you. I liked Ashley and Dale and the crew and Eric, and I would catch a lot of his calls off of clips from an Instagram or Twitter and stuff like that, because he would always have stuff that would go viral. So I always just enjoy that a lot. Knew about DC. DC's a legend around here. Also knew about Ashley and then Gerald as well. So when I did get to catch it, I thought it was a good broadcast and it did what it was supposed to do. So I'm glad to be a part of it now. It was a crazy process. I used to walk by the set when I went to games. I went to a couple of games last year, and I used to walk by the set, and I was like, man, it must be awesome to do that for a job. And then it's like, man, I'm sitting right there now.
Yeah, so we're over a month into the season, a month into the gig. How's it feel? How you enjoying it?
Man, it's still like, I told my mom one day, I said, man, I really feel like every day now, and I also am a host for the ACC Digital Network. So I cover ACC football and basketball and stuff like that. But man, just adding this to the resume, it's just really just an extra feather in the cap. And you just really wake up every day feeling like a true professional with doing what I do, covering college football and college basketball, which is something I love. And now the NBA, I never would have thought a break like this would have come in basketball, because people would always kind of categorize me as a football guy, even though I cover a lot of basketball with the ACC Digital Network as well. And I've been an NBA junkie since I was a kid. I've always loved NBA basketball, but it's a dream come true, man, to be frank with you. And I'm not being hyperbolic or anything like that. I mean, being a Charlotte kid, the history, I have so much personal history with the Hornets, from, my mom taking me to the expansion tournament when the expansion teams played against each other, going to games when I was a kid. I was a ball boy one time, to, just friends going to draft parties and talking about the Hornets on the phone with my friends, and just being invested in the team and wanting to see them do well with every draft pick and just legendary stuff. With the first Union murals with Larry and Muggsy, man, it's really cool for me to now be in that seat. And then another thing that's crazy is that every game I do, I see somebody that I know from my past or somebody that I met recently, but I see somebody that I know every single game. And that's really cool, especially when I see like some of my high school friends and stuff like that, man, that maybe that I haven't seen in a while. And it's so funny. They come up to me and they're like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I'm like, man, stop, man. Of course I remember you. So, man, it is just a joy to come in there every day with the crew. We get along great. My producer, Eric Kendall, Eric, Dale, actually the whole crew, man. It's just been a seamless process. We really do our job and we really enjoy doing it. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better gig.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, walk me through like a regular day in the life. So let's say it's a 7 p.m. tip. When's your day start and what do you go through before air?
Oh, man. So I'm what you would call a grinder. Are you familiar with the show Living Color?
Yeah.
You remember the Jamaicans that had
all the jobs? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's me, man. So most days I'm working some type of job before I get ready to go. But we have our production meeting at 4:30. So I'll do work for ACC, or I also work part-time at Fox Sports Log and Tape. So I might be doing something with that, man, or when I have my son here, we might be working on some homework, or we might be doing something. And so, but really, so my ritual, or not ritual, but my routine is I will, work on my notes during the day. I like to get into analytics as well as the game notes that they pass out. I seek out the analytics on my own. I've really gotten into that a lot recently. Since I've gotten this job and gotten a great understanding of it. Because, I love basketball. I've been watching NBA forever, but I also want to really I'm one of those type of guys. I'm not an on the surface sports guy. Even with, my job at ACC, like, I don't like to deliver people stuff they already know. Like, that's very boring to me. I can't stand play interviews where they say stuff that's very mundane. I don't like getting information that anybody could tell me. So I always like to be the guy that can deliver some information that you might not know. So I'll go into my notes. I normally I like to do 2 pages max. I don't want to overload myself. But I go about 2 pages max, getting myself information on the analytics of the opponent, the analytics of the Hornets, little stats and facts with that. Once I get that down, I go over it a couple of times, hang out, try to chill, try to get a little downtime, grab a little something to eat, and then figure out what I'm going to wear, which is another job I love to do. So then figure out, okay, what's going to be the combination for the day? What am I going to wear? And then probably about 3:15, I'll start getting ready, put my clothes on, making sure I have everything. Then once I do that, I try to get out of the door about 3:50 to get to the arena by about 4:15, 4:20. I got to cross the street, park in the deck, all that good stuff. I go, to our production meeting. We have a little something to eat there, which I've started saving that for game time, depending on what it is, because you get pretty hungry being in there from 4. Yeah. 4:30 dinner is early. That's what I call old head time. That's like your great grandma, your grandma time to eat dinner. You know what I'm saying? So I'll try to save it for later. Yeah. And we'll talk about what we're gonna do. I walk out after we get done with our meetings. We go to listen to Coach Borrego talk. So I always try to figure out while I'm going through the notes. The notes are always tell the story of the game and how it may go. And when you look at the analytics, so you start breaking things down. You see, is this team on a win streak? If so, like with Minnesota, like they come into the game on a 5-game win streak. They would just lighten it up. So I dumbed down my stats to the last, well, I don't want to say dumb down, but I condensed my stats down to the last 5 games. Looked at what they were doing. Boom, that's my storyline. Let me ask Coach Borrego, what have you seen from this team over the last 5 games that you might not have seen previously this season? Then I also, it's so weird, man. When I was in school, I could sit up there and listen to the teacher talk and forget everything that they said. But I can sit and listen to sports information or read over it once or twice, and it's like, boom, it's there. Yeah. So I'll listen to Coach B, JB. Then we'll go to the opposing coach's presser. I come up with a storyline for him based off the information that I've seen. I'll ask him something that goes along. And I try to use that for the show as far as the narrative that I want to tell about this game based off the answers I get from JB and the coach. Boom, that's done. I walk out to the court and holler at Big Pat for a few. My guy, the legendary Big Pat on the mic. Then I'll see the players warming up. I might, hang out courtside, man, just because I can. That's one of the perks of the job. Right. How many times you come there and sit in the upper deck or different things like that. I'm like, man, I'm going to sit on this court for a few and just soak this in. Most time when I come out, it's always, I've noticed that the guys have a routine. They come out at a certain time. So when I come out, it's Terry, Mason, PJ will come out, and Miles will come out or whatever. So me and Terry kind of been starting to form a little bit of something. Like he came by one time. I made it a point to say something to him. I made it a point to say something to Mason or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then I'll go to the set. I might go to the team shop, see what's new in the team shop. And then I'll come back to my to the desk and I'll start going over my notes. And by then, man, it's about showtime. And then once 6:30 hits, it's time to roll.
Nice. No, that's great. That's great. And you only do the home games. You don't travel on the road games. So how do you manage that when you're not able to do that routine and you're watching them at home like with us?
Yeah, I try to stay in the mix or whatnot. So if people check out my Twitter, West Got Range, I'm always live tweeting during the away games. And I tweet pretty much all throughout the game. I don't try to be too statty or get into too much of that type of stuff, but I do I will analyze. I'll go look at the stats of the game, see how it's going, point out things that I might see as far as things that we do well to help us win or things that we don't do well that's going to make us lose if we don't stop doing it. But I always check out the game. I get myself settled in. I watch the pregame, think about what storylines they're telling there. And then I'll just, I watch the game like everybody else, man. And I'm just a fan in my house. And I can say all the stuff that I might not get to say on the air when I get upset about certain things. Or if I get excited, I might be able to say some things that I might not be able to say on the air. But I tweet out my thoughts and I'll give you a little info as well. But it's mostly just a lot of opinions. I like to retweet a lot of the cool replays and stuff that the Fox Sports staff, the Bally Sports staff will put up. And I retweet, man, and just enjoy the game and just try to get the fans a little bit of me in the process.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah. Wess got range in the description. Go check him out. Make sure you follow. Let's shift to the court. Just the energy in the building. You see it. You can see it from the players, like the energy, the swagger, the confidence. You can hear it through the TV. What's it like from your vantage point, the energy on the court and the energy in the building?
Yeah, man, this is a team, as I said, I had the luxury of being a hometown kid working for their hometown team. So I've seen all the teams that have come through here. And, the buzz goes off of who you're putting on the floor and are they winning. And, you had the teams that, I was here in the stands when we had LJ and Muggsy and the crew and Kendall Gill, and it was packed every night and everybody was just excited. And then you're here for the bad times. And I was here for the time before they left to go to New Orleans when they were giving out vouchers to the fans to come to the games and there might be 30 people in the stands and all that good stuff. So I'll say with this team, there's a palpable buzz. And I'm not saying that to be punny. But, when you have a guy that can rise like Miles and deliver show-stopping dunks, and you have a guy like LaMelo that's one of the arguably 5 to 10 most exciting players in the NBA, you got a guy like Gordon Hayward that can score in a multitude of ways. You got a guy like Terry Rozier that can do yo-yo playground moves like we saw the other night versus Washington. So there are a lot of guys that, you have different fans that will have their taste of what they're coming to see. You might have Hayward fans and Rozier fans, but they're all exciting guys and they're capable of anything at any time. You see Terry Rozier throwing lobs, or he might rise up and get a dunk. And you know what I'm saying? So it's so many guys on the court that can make a play, but then LaMelo is the guy. He's the guy everybody comes to see. And the thing I noticed game one was that, last year, his rookie year was a pandemic season. And they started doing limited fans at the end. So I went to a couple of games with my son last year. And I said, when people can get back in this building, I said, it's going to be live in here when they really get to see this guy. And from game one, man, if he grabs the rebound or the Hornets get a defensive turnover and kick it to LaMelo, whatever it may be, the second half of that Indiana game, when they were making that run in the third quarter, people were literally standing up for the majority of the third quarter. That's just not something you see in the NBA like that unless it's the finals or a big playoff series and that's down to the last 3 or 4 minutes and everybody's standing up because it's LeBron and Steph or something like that. But Hornets fans were on their feet for most of that third quarter, and I said, you can just feel it. And then when he gets the ball, I've always said you can hear that when LaMelo gets the ball, because especially when he's flying down that court and the hair is going, the fans are excited because they don't know what's going to come next. And that's the thing that makes LaMelo. With Miles and not saying other guys, like, what's going to come next. But with LaMelo, you literally don't know what he's going to do. He could jack up a 38-foot three. Yeah. He could come down and throw a crazy no-look pass. He could come down and dunk on somebody. You just don't know. And that's the excitement that's in this building now. The unpredictability of LaMelo Ball, along with guys who can pay off a lot of his goodwills. So it's just an exciting team all around.
You think Melo can make the All-Star team this year?
Yes, that was my bold prediction at the beginning of the season. I think he's well on track to do that. As long as the Hornets have a winning record, a pretty good record, I don't see how you leave this guy off. Everybody in the NBA talks about market size and things like that, but he's a guy that supersedes a market. He goes viral every night with something that he does. You see him on House of Highlights, or you see him on Valley Sports, or any type of big entities, he's there. Everybody knows who he is, and you see it now, the effect when the Hornets on the road. There are sold out crowds because they want to see, hey, what's this LaMelo Ball kid all about? So, yeah, I definitely think he is. He's playing at an all-star level. He's starting to get to near triple doubles near triple doubles on a regular basis, but the team is winning. So as long as the team is successful, I think he's a shoo-in.
Yeah, and I think there's a chance Miles can join him.
Yes, I think so too. Miles, he's taken a little bit of a dip lately, but I have full confidence he's going to get his play back up as well too.
Yeah, the league's taking notice. The fan base knows. Like all eyes are going to be on Charlotte for the short term and long term with those guys in the mix. What guy on the team, and you can say a couple guys if you want, isn't getting enough credit? Like, who are some of the unsung heroes in the squad that you think should get some more shine on them?
I mean, I think for sure the Tsunami Poppy, a.k.a. My man Kelly Oubre, I call him Big Ubi. I mean, this is a guy who, you always knew he was a good athlete, could hit the occasional three, super athletic. He's in Washington, and then he went to Golden State. And, he was a player that, he was a good player, solid player. Some nights you would get more out of him than others. But you can't really argue at this point the value that he's had on this team. This is the perfect team for him. And I've always dropped the stat, not sure what a percentage is yet, but I know this or at this point. But I know when you look into the analytics, this is a guy that 80% of his points come off of assists from teammates. And this is the perfect team. The Hornets are one of the best passing teams in the NBA. And so when you have a team that comes down and they're working the ball around and they're unselfish and they don't care who gets the shot, Kelly gets so many good looks. And the thing is, he has earned the trust of his team because he's knocking them down. He's had 2 high 30-point games. He's had 20-point games. I mean, he is a guy that when he gets going, I mean, it's like call him fire department, literally. I mean, he is on fire. So I think that he is a guy that's definitely going to be in contention for 6th man of the year if he continues his stellar play. I'll go him. Do you want me to just pick one, or I would have one more for you?
Yeah, lay it on me. Who you got?
Yeah, the other guy I would have to say is definitely Cody Martin.
Yes.
He's the quintessential glue guy that comes in a game. He gives the team an energy boost. He draws charges. He does the dirty work. Yep. And I was an offensive lineman when I played football, so I definitely appreciate the guys who do the dirty work. And that's Cody Martin. He's a 3-and-D guy. He can knock down the open three. But again, he's going to take the assignment of the other team's best player and try to cool them off or keep them from getting going. And as I said, one of the top charge takers in the league. You got to respect the guy that's going to get out there and do whatever's necessary. So those two guys have been huge for the Hornets off the bench.
Yeah, I love Cody. He'll fight somebody if he has to. He's the epitome of the developmental system, the Greensboro to Charlotte, second round pick.
Man. Blue collar.
Exactly. I love Cody Martin. As we're recording this, he's on the shelf right now. Hopefully he'll be back soon with a few days off.
Yeah.
The Hornets return Sunday, depending on when you watch this. Maybe what I'm just saying right now may be super out of date if you're watching this later. But as of right now, Cody Martin's on the shelf. So get well soon, Cody.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to get you out of here on this. This team has a good mix of young talent and veteran talent. And I think they can make the playoffs this year. But like looking ahead, the next 3 to 5 years, where do you think this franchise can go? Like in 5 years, let's say, do you think you could see this team in a position where they're in the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference? Do you think we can see them in the conference semis, the conference finals? Like, what are your thoughts on where this club is going?
I think that's the trajectory, being a perennial playoff team, getting up into that top 4 in the Eastern Conference. The key is just always the money. And how are you going to do it? Because that's the downside to having so many guys that can play good basketball. There are going to be other teams that want them, whether, of course, they're going to want them to come and help their team and to hurt the Hornets. So that's the key, is just figuring out the perfect mix of guys that you're going to be able to keep at salaries that you can swing. So that's the key. It's like, okay, Miles, when he's coming up soon, he's playing at an all-star level. He's playing his way towards max money. So it's like, okay, are you going to max out Miles Bridges? And then, Rozier's going to be coming up soon. And then it's like, okay, are we going to keep him? You're already paying Hayward a good bit of money. And we already know LaMelo's getting a super max all day, every day. So once that happens, that's when things are going to really have to fall in. But I think Mitch As long as we can keep him in place, Mitch Kupchak, the general manager, doing what he's doing, he's built a lot of winners in this league. I think he knows what he's doing. He's done a great job with this roster so far. So the key is going to be building depth through the draft. Especially the better you get, the lower your selection is going to be. So you're going to have to make sure you're getting guys that can come in and help at those low salaries that you're going to be able to keep around. So right now, the development of Kai Jones and James Bouknight is going to be key, because you look at it and you say, okay, well, they're not playing a lot right now, but they're going to be huge down the road, because is James Bouknight going to be able to be that backup two guard or eventually turn into a starter that if you do lose Rozier, can he step into that role and become a scorer? Because we know what he was coming out of the draft. Can Kai Jones become that shot blocker, rebounder, dirty work kind of guy down low? So that's going to be the key, is the development of those guys. But if I had to guess and use my crystal ball right now, I would say the Hornets will be a perennial contender in the Eastern Conference, and I'm not being a homer. I just think the star power of LaMelo Ball can attract players here. I think that they'll be able to find guys that I think your core is here now. I think if you want to go with because everybody likes to talk big three. So if you want to go Melo, that's the thing. It's so tough. Do you want to go Melo, Miles Hayward, or Melo, Miles Rozier, or what direction do you want to go as far as your big three guys that are going to be your top three dudes? So you have to figure that out. And then after that, it just becomes the thing of putting in the right parts around them. I like what they did bringing in Mason Plumlee. He's been a good, gritty guy that they need. They probably need to go find him a little more help down low to get maybe a little more shot blocking, a little more rebounding help to protect the rim just a little bit more. But I think they've been doing good. Ish Smith from, he's been around the league. He's coming in doing a good job. He's kind of falling out of the rotation, but I'm sure he'll find his way back in. So the Hornets have a pretty good bench right now. So I would just say if Mitch Kupchak continues to be at the helm doing the job that he's doing, I think that they'll be a top 4 to 5 team. I think that Kai Jones and Bouknight will eventually start to develop as young guys and provide that depth and maybe one day become starters for this team. So I like the direction they're going. And, you can see now, they've beaten the Golden State Warriors. They played the Milwaukee Bucks last night down to the wire. So this is a young team that's learning as well. I love where they're going. So I'm going to say perennial contender. We haven't won a first-round playoff series in God knows when, since Zoe hit the shot, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. So if I want to go playoff prediction, I would say the Hornets have the capabilities of being a conference finals type of team if they just continue to build the way they're building. I think so. I think LaMelo has that kind of effect.
Yeah, and I think the Hornets are very fortunate that the young core complement each other so well. Like, you look at the Pacers, like they got Turner and Sabonis. There's questions about whether the guys can play together. Sixers with Simmons and Embiid. Those guys occupy a lot of the same space. Melo and Miles just go perfect together.
They love playing together.
Yeah, it works so well. It's such an enviable position for this franchise to be in. And Hornets fans, if you're not excited, get excited. This is a good time to be Hornets fan.
And we deserve it. I mean, look, we've been deprived for so long. How many draft picks have we missed out on that went before or behind a guy that you could have gotten? So finally, we have a team, that I remember having conversations with friends on the phone with certain teams that we've had in the past. And I'm like, nobody's interested in really going to see anybody off this roster play, except for like when Kemba Walker was here and stuff like that. But other than that, this is the team now where you're excited. You get Hornets tickets, or people know you got Hornets tickets that you want to give up, they're going to get gone. So it's cool.
Hell yeah. Wes, you're the best. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Anytime, man. Just give me a ring.
Thanks again to Wes. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Peace.